So we're going to do two things here. It might be that you've been asked to prepare a presentation. You can get on with that yourself. Don't need me really to help you that. But most of those presentations, they're going to ask you for a 30, 60, 90. And remember, the strategy here is twofold. One, we're going to produce a nice presentation, but genuinely, if you do this the right way, your presentation should take you the best part of about 5 minutes, if that. The trick here is to prepare a business plan that underpins that presentation, that lands on the desks of everybody involved in the buying process. And I'm going to say the word buying process, not hiring process. Lands on the desk of everybody involved in the buying process the night before the interview. The best case scenario I ever saw of this was a candidate who actually had his business plans individually bound and delivered them by hand to the office the night before because he was staying in a hotel near the office the night before. And on the morning of the interview, everybody arrived in the office and on their desk was a bound business plan for them to look at before they met him. Needless to say, he got that job. So what should be in your business plan? Well, I'm just going to give you a very basic structure here, and there'll also be an accompanying document that you can use, and we'll also send you in this email where you're watching the videos from, there'll be some sample plans and documents that we've created for you. The first thing is an executive summary. You write that at the end, and if you didn't know that, you shouldn't be watching the video anyway. Next bit, key goals. Next bit, key differentiators and areas of leverage for the business. Next bit, market analysis, size, predicted size, key issues, key drivers. Next bit, competitor analysis of the market, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats of the key competitors. Next bit, an ideal client profile, who are you going after and why. Next bit is your activity plan. Then the next bit is a break-even analysis on you as an acquisition and the return on investment case behind hiring you in a spreadsheet format. Next bit is the operational success issues, and the next bit is what you need from the business, and then a whole set of appendices. In the appendices should be proof of success, your pay slips, P60s, written references to whom it may concern, and certificates and awards that you've got, as well as a Gantt chart with the key action items that you're going to take in your first 90 days to 6 months, and a separate document as another appendices called Why You, Why Me, and then case studies of key deals you've won and how you do it. So let's go back through those a little bit. Key goals is easy. It's what you're expecting out of the business plan. Key differentiators and areas of leverage for the business. So how are you going to find those out? Well, you do your homework, you go on the website, but you go further than that. Go a lot further than that. You should be mystery shopping this company now, talking to its customers, talking to the reference sites, finding out about stuff that nobody else has found out about. You should be ringing up one of your clients now and saying, hey, have you bought technology X? Yes, I have. Great. Can I come and have a look at it in action? So that you can write in your business plan, I went to see organisation X and had a look at implementation Y, and this is where I believe our leverage point is in the market and why I understand it. As opposed to some blurb that your competitors have ripped off the website. If you really want a job, you do it, you go for it. The next bit is the market analysis. You should have already done a lot of this at first interview, but it takes us back to the point that we made when we were preparing for our first interviews about asking yourself, if somebody was to give you the value of the basic salary for this job to invest in this company, and you didn't know anything about the market or the sector, how much analysis would you do before you invested that amount of money in that organisation? You should understand the sector, the size of it, the value of it, what the analysts are saying, who the key competitors are, what their propositions are, what differentiates them against the other organisations. So you can truly be able to say, when you're sat in the interview, this is where I believe we're well positioned and why I want to be here. It's about being able to demonstrate to them that you've got this cogent, compelling reason to join their organisation. Because remember, people buy with their egos as much as they do with the information you impart to them. They want to know that you really know that the job's right for you. They want to know you'll accept it if they offer it to you. So you've done your market analysis, you've analysed the competitors, and then we're going to get into an activity plan. Actually, how many appointments are you going to do? Where are you going to get the appointments from? Who are you going to get the appointments from? Are you going to cold call? Are you going to network? If it's healthcare, are you going to go to trust board meetings? How many trust board meetings are you going to go to? How many board meetings do you need to go to get a lead, to get a project, to get a forecastable pipeline item? And how many forecastable pipeline items do you need to actually hit target over the course of a year to 18 months? Based on a typical average sales cycle in your own experience of what? So that you can work backwards and say, right, there's my plan. This is where I'll be in 6 months' time. You know, if your sales cycle's at 18 months because you work in healthcare, great. But this is where I'm going to be in 6 months. That's precisely what my pipeline value will be on the last day of the 6-month period, based on that amount of appointments, that amount of leads, that amount of new appointments. And in your appendices, this is where you go to town, dig them out. The amount of people, oh, I haven't got my payslips. Oh, shut up. You have. Get them out. Demonstrate it. Get your P60s out. If you've sold stuff and you've got proof of achievement, prove it. You wouldn't believe how cynical clients are. They don't know in their own head that they should be cynical. They don't know that they shouldn't believe you. They don't even know that they don't believe you. But subconsciously, if I've got 4 candidates in a room and one of them turns up with a document like that, and at the back of the document are his P60s and his payslips proving he's been consistently successful, no one else might as well have turned up. The others are finished, they're done. They will go with the candidate that proved it, no matter what happens. And then we'll talk about the why you, why me document. So the why you, why me document is a separate exercise in itself, and it's what I call the balanced argument. It's something that you can use once you start doing the Q&A part of the interview and use as an aide-memoire during the course of the interview that will allow you to demonstrate that you've understood their needs and they've understood yours. And I'll explain more. What we're looking for here is a document that says what your potential new employer's needs are, down one side of the column, and how you meet each of those needs with facts, figures, and information. That's page 1. Page 2 is what your needs are at this point in your career and how the company meets those needs on the other side. So that what you've created as part of your argument, and it helps you get to the closing stage of the interview, is this case at the back of your document that says, look, I can meet your needs as an organisation. I can solve your problem based on me understanding that you need that, and that, and I've got that, and that. And I need the following things, that, and that, and you've got that, and that. So you meet my needs, I meet your needs. Well, let's do this. And it's a very powerful document to enable you to bring the interview to a successful close. And then finally, your case studies of key deals you've won and how you did it. So you'll have already prepared those at first interviews if you're watching this video. They just come into the appendices. You should already have your P60s, your references. Some of the other stuff is easy to produce. Gantt chart, it will be a Gantt chart, almost like a project manager would create a Gantt chart. And you can see one here on the slides I've created for you that almost demonstrates day 1, day 2, week 1, week 3, week 4, rather than most people turn up with a presentation and it just looks like, oh, week 1 I'm going to do this and week 2 I'm going to do that. The Gantt chart says, I think like a project manager. I think like a business person. I think like a smart, sharp guy. There's loads of different apps you can use to create really professional looking Gantt charts that make you look and differentiate you enormously in the recruitment process. For God's sake, you can use Excel if you have to, and I've given an example here of an Excel Gantt that somebody did for a particular job interview that we sent them to. I mean, it's pretty simple, but it demonstrates where you're at, and it demonstrates your ability to plan and think lucidly and strategically about what you will do with your time. Then we're going to talk about the ROI side of things, in terms of creating an activity sheet. So I've given an example here on the slide of a very, very basic activity sheet. And I know, for a 100K basic salary strategic sales job, it's possibly a bit more complex, but in the final analysis, at some point, you've got to do some first appointments and some second appointments with some prospects, get into some engagements and win some sales. And you can see here, in month 1, how many appointments you're going to do. How many new engagements are you going to get involved in? Month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6. And then what's the sales cycle? What's the average deal value? So at some point you can say, by month 6, I will have sold X based on that many appointments, a conversion ratio of that, and an average deal value of that. And that's why you've got to ask those questions when you're with the hiring manager, so that you can actually base it on something. And again, it shows you are sharp and commercial and organised and clear thinking and classy. And again, I just put up another slide here, which is your ROI spreadsheet. And again, we'll provide you with this. It's a way of demonstrating to them, this is when I will give you your money back on your investment. It's a great way of doing 2 things. One, the guys and the girls that do really well with the ROI argument usually are the ones that negotiate salary the most powerfully. Why? Because you'll see in the bottom left of this particular sheet that I've got here, and I'll give you a sample sheet that you can use in the email, it should already be with you. You decide your salary negotiating point and demonstrate the ROI point accordingly. So you can manage your price expectation as part of your business plan. You build it in. And because the business plan is so compelling, it becomes easier to perhaps often negotiate a slightly higher salary than maybe other people may have done because the client deigned to offer them a job. Particularly when they're sat there thinking, we want to hire the guy, and they're saying, what are your salary expectations? And you say, well, I'll refer you back to my business plan. I set myself a salary of £60,000 based on this business. It's £5,000 a month, as you can see, and I reckon we'll hit break even by month 5 in this instance. So I'm quite happy with a salary of £60,000 and a car allowance of £600 a month. That's what I believe I'm worth. And at that point, it's pretty hard for them to not offer it you. So remember, the Why You, Why Me document creates a really balanced argument and is really compelling. The ROI case, again, creates a really compelling argument. Make sure that you work your coach when you're doing this. The guys that do really well with it, the candidates that absolutely smash these, are the ones that will go through 2 or 3 iterations of the document with the hiring manager before they show up. Trust me, if I've got a candidate who's met a hiring manager for a cup of coffee before the interview on final interview day, has sent him a draft version of a business plan as well as his presentation before interview day, had some revisions put on it, that's a 100% guaranteed that candidate will get offered that job. Remember, the night before the presentation and the night before your final interview, you email your plan to everybody involved with the finalised agenda, or better still, if you really can, bind it and drop it off. If you really want to win, do it.